Thank you. Leave that after the session, please. I did nothing yet. Okay, so welcome to my session. My session is now about identity and access control, the visibility to the network, a little bit more, and I will take it from the technical point of view. The plan is following. So I would like to mention a little bit more what already my colleague was talking about one policy. So I would like to demonstrate it. So that's the first topic. The second topic will be identity and access. So it means visibility and control of who is accessing the network. The third section is just a little bit of theory about redirection, so how we can do the redirection to the web portal. And the last three, let's say, topics are for redirection. So what we can do with guest access, how we can control it, how we can do bring our own device or employee access to the network from their devices. So that's the agenda. Regarding one policy or regarding something which is called access profile or security profile. So an example, an explanation about that. So imagine that you have a piece of configuration of your switch or of your wireless. In my case, I will demonstrate it on wireless. So piece of configuration, and you name that piece of configuration. So you will create a name like unregistered user, guest access, employee, administrator, SharePoint server, domain controller server, IP phone, access point, and those kind of profiles. So what we do then, we create something which is called service. Service in general is a set of rules, for example, access control lists, but it does not have to be only access control lists. So for example, I have something like acceptable use policy, or I have internet only, or captive portal access only. So that's something which I map to those profiles. So this is the way how we configure it. This is the way how we maintain it. And the cool thing and the very, let's say, powerful thing on that is you configure it on one place, and then you send it to the whole network. So that's the concept of one policy. So you can have, for example, internet only, which means allow HTTP, allow DNS, allow DHCP, allow ARP, and stop the rest. Okay? So if you create such profiles and you apply those profiles to the port where the user is connected, not to the VLAN or firewall or somewhere in the network. It is on the place where the user is connected. If you apply it on the wireless, it is processed on the access point itself. Okay? So you can have different profiles talking about different security like access control lists, but also going for different priority, quality of service, rate limits. Okay? For the wireless, it can be also different topology. In general, it can be mirroring of the traffic. Just piece of configuration which you apply to the entity which is connected. So how we configure it? We have already shown us something which is called one view. Okay? So if you have a new net site, it's in one view. If you have very old net site, or if you are preferring the Java, it is a policy manager. Okay? So we have two places where we can configure it now. So for example, this is an example which we will use something like I have different roles, like unregistered user. I have a role like enterprise user or guest access. So if I'm unregistered, what I will allow? I will deny all. And if I allow something, I will apply some quality of service on that. And then I have this something. These are the services which I mentioned on the previous slide. So I have, for example, access like ARP allow, UDP port destination bootp server, so I can get a DHCP address. I have the UDP destination DNS, so I can get the DNS translation. Then, for example, I have redirection of the web traffic. I will talk about redirection a little bit later. But in general, okay, HTTP and HTTPS redirected to the captive portal. So if I'm unregistered, I can do that. Okay? I will have different roles like deny access or like enterprise user. And for those roles, I do have different set of services. And in those services, I have access control lists, quality of service rules, rate limit rules. Okay? So that's one example. Another example, I just click on the class of service. So if you go to the class of service guest, for example, okay, so that's a priority 0 from the 802.1p priority. It is type of service or DSCP values, which I modify. It is a drop precedence, and there are 2 rate limiters, inbound and outbound. Everything configured from one place. The most intelligent device in the network is the network management. And the network management send it to the whole network. Okay? So I don't care if it is wired or wireless. I don't care if it is in this location or that location. I can do that on one place. So that's the guest access and rate limits, for example. I can define VLANs. So if I'm a guest in the guest VLAN, I will apply the different VLAN ID. I can do that. Do you want to see that? I hope yes. I prepare it. Thank you. Okay. So, live demonstration. So, this is a live network, which I have access point just behind the wall. I'm connected to that, and I am an administrator in this network. So if I'm administrator, I allow all traffic, and I apply some cool quality of service. Okay? And there is no limitation for the administrator. That's my setting. Do you like it or not? That's it. So if I go for the class of service, let's look at the class of service. And the class of service, I'm sorry, what was it? It was administrator, network management. Okay, I can choose another one. But if I take network management, class of service, network management, it is priority 5, queuing. So that's the queuing setting, type of service, maybe some rate limits, no. So I'm good. So just some proof what I do. I can ping. I can. Can I telnet? Yes, I can. Yep. Cool switch, right? Okay, so what I will do now, I will change the setting. So I will say now administrator is not allowing those rules, not those services. So in my network, everyone will have, even the administrator will have this. Okay? If I go to explain that, so there is not allowed at all. For example, I can drop ping, I can drop telnet. Okay, so this traffic will be denied. That's it. Yeah, I can have much more. Like, for example, this one. So just an example, if I am an edge device, do I really need to be allowed to send OSPF to the network? Do I really need to be allowed to send the DHCP to the network? Routing protocols and those things. Usually users don't need that. So you can protect if the user is not user and if the user tries to do something wrong. Yes? Of course supported.
Router advertisement?
Yes, it is supported. That was the sales answer. The technical answer, it depends on the product. So not all products do support all options. Okay? So if you pay this, that's what you get. If you pay this, that's what you get. Thank you for the question. By the way, thanks for all questions in the future, just in case I forget. Okay, so what I did, back to this roles and services. So I said that administrator is not allowed to do ICMP echo request and the TCP destination telnet. Okay? So if I'm happy with the setting, I will send the setting to the network. First device, the second device, 100 devices. That's it. And, oops. It works. What about telnet? The policy works. Just imagine that you have 100 switches, 1,000 switches, access points, whatever you wish. I'm sorry, I do understand Russian very low. I learned Russian only for 2 years on primary school, so I was not able to get it. So let's return me back. So I like to have ping. I don't need to reconnect. I don't need to disconnect, change something. That's like this. And of course, the telnet will work again. Yep. So just some examples, like if I'm a guest, what I can do. I already mentioned that, like, who does use IPX in the network today? Very few. But if you do sniffer, you will see that. Every printer does have it by default enabled. Okay? So do you need that traffic in the network? You can get it out, rate limited. So, yeah, spoofing. Does the real user, the standard user rule in telnet and SSH? You can block it, if you wish. Okay? So this is a construction, or construct, or philosophy of configuring it. So I have roles, I have services, class of service, topologies, VLANs, and I can work with that. The next section I would like to mention is something which we call identity and access. Someone calls that network access control as the technology. So identity and access, what it does, when you connect to the network, our management is gathering attributes. It's gathering some fingerprint of your device. Okay? So this is an example from NAC side, from our management platform, going to the tab Identity and Access and End Systems. And you can see what devices were in my network and what devices are in my network just now. So this is the screenshot from last year when I had my lab running. So you can see that some timestamp. You can see that these devices are not connected. These two are connected. You can see the IP address for each and every device. You can see the MAC address. You can see the fingerprint of the device. So you can see that this is iPad, this is a BlackBerry, this is OneTouch Fluke, this is Linux, this is Symbian, OneTouch Fluke series, as I mentioned, Ubuntu, Amazon Kindle. You have the visibility. Based on all those attributes, you can choose which profile, which policy, one policy, will be applied. So for example, you can do that based on username. So if a user logs in and the user is an administrator based on LDAP, okay, apply administrator profile. If a user logs in as a salesperson, okay, apply sales profile. If it is a printer, okay, apply a printer profile. What the printer can do, let's allow the printer to print. Okay? So if the printer is not a printer, but something like, okay, I have the printer MAC address, so it's spoofed. I can do the fingerprint, so maybe it is a printer with Windows. Oh, that's probably not a printer, right? So I can see, okay, only printers which do have this operating system will be able to be in my network. Only these IP phones, which may be clever, but no one really cares about authentication, or these are stupid IP phones, so they cannot authenticate. So I'm using the MAC address as the authentication method. Okay? If it is a printer, let's allow to print, not go to the internet, not to do browsing. So based on those attributes, we can apply a profile. We can apply the policy. Switch, IP address, the switch name, location, the port. If you know Enterasys devices, this is the notation. If it is Extreme operating system, it will be 1:3, slot 1, port 3. If it is Cisco, it will be fast Ethernet /1/3, for example. Okay? So you see the location. If I scroll down, you can see risk. You can see the profile and the rule which was applied. So yep, there are rules in the management system. You can have a lot of rules. So the most weird deployment which I met, 750 rules. Why not? Okay? So you can have rules like, for example, stuff logged on captive portal or access point. This is an access point, so let's apply the access point profile. This is unregistered guest. This is someone on the IT conference. You can see the security posture information. You can see the first scene, when it was scanned last time. So this is the identity and access and control solution from the PowerPoint. Let's do the demo. Okay. Yo. Another tab, the same system. So I do have 3 devices in my network just now. I do have my DHCP scope for 100 devices only. So feel free to connect if you wish. You will be on the screen. But if we are more than 100, I will run out of IP addresses. Okay? So there is something which is called, let me show that, Extreme Technical Demo. That's an SSID running on the access point there. Okay? And if you connect, you will be on the screen. Some people already connected. Yeah, welcome. And this person already went to some web portal. Good. I have the information. So, yep, it's the IP address. I may refresh. The IP address is learned also here. So you can see that we have mainly Apple devices, Android devices, some Windows devices also. Okay, maybe I will wait for some more coming. Okay? So for each and every end system, I have this information. So these people did not went to the guest portal. This is a pass-through. That's my computer connected to the wireless. That's different SSID. You can see that. And the rest of them are unregistered. Some of them, like this guy, went to that, and that's guest access. You can see the access point name. You can see the radio. So some of us are on the 5 GHz radio. Some of us are on the 2.4. So let's look at whom? Okay, top one. I'm sorry if you are here. Welcome. Yep. Is it okay if I show you? Thank you. So you see, that's a guest profile. This is the MAC address, the IP address, the identity, location where I am, activity, first scene, last scene. If I do scanning, which is not polite to invite you and then scan you, right? So if I do scanning, you will see the health details. You see where this device is connected, who approved it, how he logs in, and you can see the history. So this device was disconnected. Oh yeah, I'm in my time zone. Okay? So if you look at my time, I have here 2:20. So yeah, that's wrong time zone. So yeah, that's 2 hours late. But you can see that it was disconnected. You can see exactly when it changed from unregistered to the guest. What is the name? You can see if I have more access points, if there was some roaming. Okay, and you can see that yes, there was roaming from this SSID to this SSID. I mean BSSID, this radio. Okay? Maybe you would like to see how help desk can benefit from this solution. So let's search from someone. Me. Yep. My iPhone just now disconnected. Okay, so it does take something like 30 seconds to update all the information. So I should be connected in a few seconds. So let's search again. We'll see that it will change in 30 seconds. So I can see my host name, my IP address, my MAC address. I can see on what SSID, on what access point I am. I'm still unregistered on the profile, first seen, last seen, when I was seen on the network. The signal strength, how long I'm connected, what is the bandwidth for this user, error rate. You can see the information from the access point of view. So how many clients I have on the access point. Number of unicasts, broadcasts, multicast. I can go and see the wireless details. So this is the client information, this is the controller information, this is the access point information, radio 1, radio 2. Access point history. Yeah, guess what? I'm not running it for a long time, so there is not much in last 3 days. But maybe we will see something in the last 24 hours. Yep, we have the number of clients connected. We do have the average, the maximum, minimum. We have the client history also. Again, it will not be much because I connected something like 1 hour ago, so not much in the last 3 days. Let's go to the last 24 hours, raw data. Yep, so I have something like bandwidth, signal strength, amount of dropped packets, amount of packets which I have in the network from that client. And of course, I do have all the details which I have shown a little bit before. This is online. So that was why it took so long, because it is checking the actual status. Okay, and then system events also available, so I'm all the time unregistered. So if we look at how it is configured, I have some rules. So I have some rules, like for example, what is it? Yep. So if I am 801x authenticated and the user is in the student group, then apply the profile student. Okay, so let's double click. If it is 802.1x, if it is a student, if it is this end system group, this device, this location, this time, then apply this profile. That's how you can configure your network. Questions here? Not now, okay. So let's return to something which is called redirection methods. So based on the those attributes, I can apply the correct profile. But network is not only about employees, it is also about guests. So if the guest will connect, I need to have him onboarded, right? So some portal, something like that. So if I want to redirect the user to the captive portal, redirect the user to some quarantine web page. Hey, welcome to the quarantine, you don't have your antivirus running. You don't have it updated. So what are my methods? So from the technical point of view, the redirection can be done by the switch itself. Yep, good. Extreme does support it. Cisco does support it, for example, also. It can be done by the wireless controller. Good. Cisco supported, Aruba supported, we support it, no trouble at all. It can be done on the access point. Okay, not everyone does support it, but can be done. So that's one method, which is the greatest one, because the switch can redirect you or the wireless can redirect you. The redirection can be done based on the policy-based routing. So the edge device will mark the traffic. This is the traffic which needs to be redirected. And then the network will redirect it based on the policy-based routing. So that's another option, how we can redirect the user to the captive portal web page. So that's what we are using here. In this example, if you connect to this SSID which I mentioned. The third option is redirection done by DNS. So I do not allow, if you are unregistered, I do not allow that client to go to the real DNS server, and I will allow that client to go to my fake DNS. And that fake DNS, if it is unregistered device, it will answer, oh yeah, Google, that's me, no problem. Microsoft, oh, that's also me, no problem. So then the client goes with the web page to Google, welcome. There is a web page. Can be done, no problem at all. If the user authenticates, goes through that, then that DNS server knows, oh, it is not already unregistered. It is not the user in quarantine. Okay, apply Google. Okay, that's proxy it and do the Google, the right one, the right IP address. Can be done by DNS. It can be done by the transparent web proxy, like Squid, for example. So you can say, hey, Squid, this is an unregistered user, redirect it. It's an option. Yep. So these are in general options to redirection. So what are our options regarding the captive portal? So options for the guest access. So I can do guest access with no or minimum security. There was a nice example. I was at the customer. I was there, and I asked, can I have internet access? Yes, of course. The password is Monday. I said, okay. The next week, I went to the follow-up session. So what is the password? It's Wednesday, okay? Hey, Mr. Customer, what will be the password on Thursday? Thursdays, of course. Okay, so question to you. What do you think is the password on Saturday? Friday, because no one is changing it on Saturday. Okay? Yep. Heavy security, fully agree. Yeah. So you can do something like guest access, and that's, for example, I have a partner, and they do have in each room a password written on the wall. Is it a security or not? Okay, that's for another discussion. The important thing here is that there is no connection between the user itself and the end system. You just give the password to everyone. Okay, so you cannot benefit from the connection. Guest visibility, of course. Yep, welcome, Mr. Guest. Until you approve it, we will not allow you. Something like which is here, Red October, not Red October, that's Digital October, right? So yeah, I'm over 18. Is someone verifying that? No. But yeah, if I'm over 18, I can probably read and I can press the button. Good. Terms and conditions, of course, possible. No problem at all. I can do authentication with tickets. That's funny. If you travel, you go to the hotel, can I have internet access? Of course, how many? Here are your tickets. Okay. What is the point? No one checked if I am the guest of that hotel. Okay? So is it a security? Not at all. Okay? And why that happens? Because the person at the reception desk does have so many things to do. So the person at the reception desk do not really want to, oh yeah, Mr. Guest, okay, let's make some note, let's create a login for you. Okay? So yeah, authentication with tickets can be done, no problem at all. Registration. Registration, good, so you can register. So there is a web page, you go to the web page, you have the web page, you fill the form. I am already 18 years old. This is my name, so I'm Marilyn Monroe. Good. You can verify and validate, for example, email address and telephone number. Okay, so maybe I'm not Marilyn Monroe. Of course I'm not. But maybe I'm not Marilyn Monroe, but I have this phone number. Okay? So then you have the point, you have the connection between the end system and the user. Facebook registration. Yep, I'm not a Facebook fan, but maybe my customers are. So I can give them the option to log into the Facebook, and if they are able to log into the Facebook, I already have the entity, the identity of the user. Okay? So at least the Facebook account is valid. It's correct. Yep. sponsored access. That's a very famous and very popular way to do the guest access now. So if I come to you and I ask, can I have the access to the internet? Yes, of course. Go to the web page, and there is a request for a sponsor email. Put there my email. I do that, and then my sponsor gets a mail and say, yeah, Zdenek Pala, Marilyn Monroe, access granted or not. Okay? This can be optional. So I'm access granted even if I'm Marilyn Monroe. No one really verifies that. But it can be mandatory, then that's fine. But even if it is optional, what you can do as a sponsor, you can say, hey, this is not a standard guest. This is a student of my training. So I will apply, me as a trainer, as a sponsor, will apply, hey, access to the internet and access to internal resources, not internal, but to the student resources for the training. Okay? So just remember what I said at the beginning, roles. So I have a profile, which is a student. I have another profile, which is a guest. So I can change that. I can have predefined sponsor list, or the user needs to fill the right one. That's also option. Oh yeah, forgot. Secure guest access. That's another option which we have, which is quite nice. What is wrong with the guest access if it is not encrypted? It is not encrypted, right? So what we can do is we can have two SSIDs. One is not encrypted, where the user will go and register and say, hey, I'm Marilyn Monroe, maybe verification of the SMS, whatever, and then I will get username and password to another SSID, which is protected by the encryption. So then the guest traffic is encrypted over the air, and I can have secure guest access. It's an option. We have all of them. Just choose which you would like to have. So, some examples. Guest registration. So you can change the fields. I will show that a little bit later. Oh, no, I can show that now, for example. Yep. So you can define if I want to have on the form first name, last name. If you are the fan of the middle name, no problem at all. Email address, phone number, you can define. Yep, there are customs, so you can change it. Instead of custom, you can do the passport number. Yeah. We have a customer which is doing concerts. So the band comes and plays the guitar or whatever. They have a Wi-Fi there, and the provider of the Wi-Fi is asking what band you would like to see the next time. Okay, why not? It's a form which you can use. Is it illegal or unbelievable? I did not get it. Obligatory. Okay, yeah. Required. Just check the checkbox. Thank you. Yep. Verification method or redirect to some user to some URL. That's fine. Oops. Okay. Live demo. Do live demo. Okay. So. Am I lucky? Yes, I am. Oops. Okay. So, where is my browser? Here. So if I go to, sorry for the language, it's Czech. In this language, sorry for the language, it's English. We can do that in Russian, but I don't understand it then, okay? So sorry. We can do simplified Chinese. I'm not sure if anyone would understand it here, okay? So, yeah, it is customizable, so of course we do not have these logos on every web page. It's color customizable, strings can be customized. Yep, I am denied access, and this is the reason, and yep. First name, last name, email address, phone number, I agree. So let's start. I did not make it easy. So first name, Zdenek, last name, me. No email.com. This email address does exist. Okay, the phone number. Oops. Let's try this one. I agree. Probably it's not enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Registration in progress. In a few seconds, I should be access granted. Yeah, I know. There is no internet. There is no such thing like internet. But if I sort it, you see, that's me. That's on my iPhone. That's how I'm connected. Now I have a guest access. Oh, yeah, there is no internet. Oops. There is no access. Okay, so I can customize the captive portal. That's easy. I will just delete myself, so you will see the captive portal working. So now I am new to this network. And if I customize it, so let's go to configuration. This is in the next version, which is version 7, which goes online or live in April, so next month. This is also transferred to the web. So now I need to use this Java application, but next month I will be able to use it on the web GUI through OneView. So I have the feature which is called guest registration. That's what I mentioned. I have a portal. I have network setting. I have administration, which I don't really need. I have languages. So maybe you would like to have, you don't trust me, so let's add Russian. Okay. Maybe I would like to add also, as I mentioned, traditional Chinese or simplified Chinese. You can create your own. Okay, so if you like, we can, no problem at all. So let's return back. Regarding images, yep, I have the header and I can change it. Style sheet, mobile style sheet, strings. So for example, yep, probably you will not have example city and example state. You will need to customize it. Okay, so pictures. And guest registration. So those fields which I mentioned, okay, so I don't care about phone number anymore, and maybe even the email address, or let's say email address, yes. So I can change it. Acceptable use policy, this checkbox, if I want or not. Yep. The next thing, verification. I said that I can verify if the user, as I said, I'm not Marilyn Monroe, but there's no way how I can verify that without human interaction. But I can verify if my mail is working, or if the, not this one, SMS text message, for example. So I would like to send an SMS. Then I can define providers. So the user can choose which GSM provider should be used. Or I can do that automatically, automatic mapping. That's my option. Okay? I can define what will be in the PIN, what will be in the verification. We had very troubled time because on some devices it's not easy to distinguish between O and 0. Okay? Because the font, it's nice and fancy, but if you send their password, some users are not able to recognize it. So you can choose if it is alphanumeric or just numbers, which one you would like to. How long is the PIN? I had seen something like 200. Don't do that, please. It's not human friendly. Okay? How long will the user be in the system? So how long it takes until this registration expires. I can do Facebook registration, I can allow it or not. I can define the sponsorship. If it is optional or mandatory. If the user will see the predefined list or not. Okay? So don't do everything at the same time. So let's try this one. So I should have some SMS verification. So let's save the setting which I want. Let's send it to all my network. Yep. And if I connect again, Mr. iPhone, would you be so nice and connect to the wireless, please? Yep, it should be. Oh. Let's see that better. Yeah, that's iPhone. I'm not sure if it's smart, but that's my phone. Come on. Let's go to some Apple. Yep, I'm denied access. And yep, here is a phone number and the service provider. You can define your own. That's just the configuration thing. Okay? Oops. I still have 8 minutes. We should go. Oh, I should go quicker. So this is the screenshots from what I shown and what I discussed already. So that's the sponsorship. That's the demo which I already did. This one is a secure guest access now. So you have those options to have two SSIDs. One is not encrypted, one is encrypted. So again, those options, how you can provide that credentials to the user by the SMS or by email. You can enable pre-registration. So that's something which, I said, the person at the reception, they can pre-register someone and then just send, hey, when you come to us, cool, this is your username and this is your password. So it can be prepared. Okay, again, if that reception, that person can do multi-user or single user only or both. Yep, sponsorship again, it's combined, it can be done. Employee access. So we do support something which is called pre-registration. So that's what I said, this receptionist will create an account. We do support something like self-registration. So self-registration, it's used if the device which will be in the Wi-Fi does not have a web browser. Okay? So you log into the web page, and you say, yep, that's me, I agree with the policy, and I would like to have this device based on the MAC address as my device. So then it is self-registered, so I don't need to go to the IT and say, hey, I have an Xbox, can I log in or can I connect it to the network? Okay? So I can do that by myself as an employee, if I'm allowed to, of course. Okay, so that's a self-registration. The web login, that's a standard thing, so I will log in with my domain credentials, and then I am in the network or not, if I'm allowed or not. So, again, in this case, it's authenticated registration, and we have so many options now again. That's a pre-registration and self-registration, if I want to enable it, allow that or not. Let's do the demo. Okay, edit. Feature. I don't want now this guest registration. I would like to have authenticated registration. So this is the feature. Save it. Let's go to the portal configuration. Again, look and feel. And here are my options. So how many devices I can register on my name? How long they will be registered? If I would like to delete them, if I would like to have self-registration and pre-registration, and what are my options here? Of course, text, of course, yeah, that's something which I have not shown. So yeah, colors, images, yeah. So let's save it, let's leave it simple. Oops, no wizard, no please, no thank you. Enforce, including the portal, enforce all, success. So yep. Still the same picture. So let's go to Disney. Okay. Username and password. So user student 1. This will be cool. This will be very secure because you will not see the password. Only one letter, right? Student. Oops. 1. Let's try to log in. Don't save the password. Oh, okay. I need to follow the policy. Yes, I will be the good guy. I will never attack anyone. Where is my... Yep, full access granted. If I refresh it, now I'm student 1. And the profile is student. Before I was guest or unregistered, now I'm student. So I still have something like 2.5 minutes and only 50 slides to go. Now, this is one of the last slides. So we can do a location-based portal. So what you have seen till now was a web portal, which was the same whoever connects or wherever connects. But I can have one network management, for example, university, and university does have different faculties. So faculty number 1 would like to have their own logo. Faculty number 2, not only all logo, but different access, different procedures. Okay? So you can do that. So based on location, based on time, based on the incoming range, based on the zone, I can have completely different portal. Okay? Very flexible, very scalable. So the largest deployment of this solution of our network management, which I'm aware of, it's in Volkswagen in Salzgitter. We have 200,000 entities in the network. Okay? 200,000 entities. The smallest implementation which I have does have something like 200 entities in the network. That's the range. Yep. Last animations. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. Questions? Still 70 seconds. Don't be shy. Feel free to ask. You had so many questions to live. If you have questions, feel free to contact us. No problem at all. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention.